politics like that.
Nope.
It's not good for the country. Who does that? Yeah, your team got an offense and a defense. They not supposed to be enemies. The enemy is the other side.
Fixed.
Never talk about it. I'm not that controversial.
Steve Harvey might have just met his match. And this time, it's not some gossip blog or messy headline coming for him. It's Katt Williams. And when Katt speaks, the whole internet stops to listen. But this wasn't your typical roast or stand-up punchline. Nah, this was war on the mic. During his sit-down with Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay, Katt didn't hold back.
President Trump was accommodating. I'm gonna give the man this. The man was very congenial. As we
just show me what he's done for black people so I can understand, because right now I don't.
All right, go on and collect.
Kamala Harris for president.
For a second, no filters, no laughs, just raw, uncut truth. He lit up the entire comedy industry, calling out fake friendships, shady business deals, and comedians who built their careers off stolen jokes. The moment Katt Williams dropped Steve Harvey's name, the whole room froze. Then Katt said it. You can't call yourself a king of comedy when your whole career is built on stealing from other comedians. That line didn't just land, it detonated. No punchline, no setup, just straight truth. And as soon as it left his mouth, the internet went nuclear. But to really understand why that one sentence hit so hard, you gotta rewind the clock. Because Steve Harvey wasn't always the polished game show host or motivational talker we see today. According to Katt, this was the same Steve who sat front row at Mark Curry sitcom tapings, took notes.
Kamala Harris and the Democratic plantation is paying you celebrities, paying you to shame black people into voting. Y'all know we not gonna get.
And then turn around and build his own show on the same formula. Same style, same premise, same swagger. Katt wasn't done there. He said Steve's whole rags to riches story was a performance, claiming Steve wasn't really living out his car like the legend says. Katt alleged that back then, Steve was making serious money on the road, pocketing thousands per show, 5 nights a week. The way Katt told it, Steve didn't come up from the trenches. He borrowed from them. And that's why his shots hit so deep. Because if there's one rule in comedy, it's this. You don't steal another man's material. That's the unspoken code. And breaking it is like crossing sacred ground. And the wild part? Katt wasn't the first to make that accusation. Years ago, comedian Mark Curry, yeah, the star from Hangin' with Mr. Cooper, came forward saying Steve had copied his whole act. Mark claimed he turned on the Steve Harvey show one day and saw his own bits, characters, and jokes word for word. He even confronted Steve, and according to him, Steve just laughed it off, saying, "That's show business." That moment told everyone in the industry what time it was. Steve wasn't just inspired, he was allegedly taking. So when Katt brought it back up years later, this wasn't random shade. It was payback, long overdue. And then Katt went even deeper, calling out the contradiction between motivational Steve and industry Steve. He said, "You can't preach about God on TV when you've been playing dirty behind scenes." That line hit like a sermon with no forgiveness. Because fans have been whispering that same thought for years, that Steve's clean-cut image was just good PR. The same man who tells the world about integrity and faith was allegedly running his empire through manipulation and ego. And Katt said it plain. Steve's real gift wasn't comedy. It was control, using charm and religion to hide how he stepped on others to climb higher. Then Katt pulled out the big guns, the kings of comedy era. He said back then, the Rail King was Bernie Mac, the funniest, the rawest, the one who didn't fake it for Hollywood. But the industry didn't want real. They wanted safe. So when it came time to pick a face of the movement, they pushed Steve. Katt claimed Steve used Bernie's passing as a way to rewrite history, sliding into the spotlight like the crown was his all along. That right there shook fans to the core. Because for decades, Bernie Mac has been seen as the heart of that tour, the soul of the game. The idea that someone could turn that tragedy into a career move that hit people in the gut. And Katt didn't stop there. He went straight for Steve's TV image. The preacher, the relationship guru, the Uncle Steve persona millions wake up to every morning. Katt said, How can you teach morals when your whole career been built on taking from others? He called him a hypocrite, the same man preaching loyalty and love, while allegedly betraying the people who helped him get there. The internet ate it up. Clips from Katt's interview spread like wildfire. Half the world said he was jealous. The other half said, finally, someone said it. But Katt's words didn't come from hate. They came from experience. He said once Steve got money, he switched up, stopped being one of the comedians, started acting like a corporation. Steve ain't one of us anymore, Katt said. He's a brand. And that hit deep because Steve built his empire on relatability, the regular guy who made it big. But Katt flipped that image, painting him as someone who sold his soul for success and left a culture that built him behind. For years, Steve Harvey seemed untouchable. The family man, the funny uncle, the example of what hard work could achieve. But Katt's words cracked that image like glass. Suddenly, fans started digging. Old interviews, awkward moments, condescending comments toward other comics. And once the internet starts piecing things together, it's a wrap. PR teams can't fix it. Talk shows can't spin it. The narrative starts writing itself. Within hours, social media was flooded with clips calling Steve a fraud. People demanded accountability, saying networks should drop him. Some even compared him to other talk show hosts who fell when their good guy mask slipped. But this wasn't gossip. This wasn't hate. This was an insider, a fellow comic, saying what everyone else was too scared to. And that's what made it explode. For the first time in his long career, people started asking, is Steve Harvey really who he says he is? The backlash was brutal. Fans dug up clips where his tone turned cold, where that big smile didn't quite reach his eyes. Suddenly, the same audience that once adored him started seeing arrogance instead of charm. Even insiders started whispering that producers were getting nervous, double-checking contracts, reevaluating projects. Networks didn't want to stand next to a man now being called Hollywood's biggest hypocrite. And while all that chaos unfolded, Katt Williams sat back, calm, quiet, untouched. No tweets, no apologies, no follow-ups. Just letting the storm he started tear through the industry on its own. And that's the part that stung the most. Because no matter how many times Steve's faced public storms before, the Miss Universe debacle, the leaked emails, the controversial defenses, this time was different. This time the hit came from inside the house. Each time Steve Harvey found himself under fire, he had the same playbook. Flash that big smile, drop a God's plan line, sprinkle in some motivational wisdom, and walk away untouched. But this time, that routine's not working. Because it's not gossip blogs or tabloids dragging him. It's someone from his own world. Someone who knows the game from the inside. And that hits different. When your peers, not outsiders, start questioning your character, the whole narrative shifts. Suddenly, fans started digging, pulling up receipts like detectives. Old interviews resurfaced where comedians threw subtle shade, and now, those side eyes make sense. Even clips of Bernie Mac looking uneasy next to Steve started circulating, and what once looked like brotherly love now feels like quiet tension in hindsight. Then M. Monique's old interview made a comeback, the one where she said Steve betrayed her just to protect his spot in Hollywood. She claimed he told her, "It's not about integrity, it's about the money game." Back then, people brushed it off as drama, but now, that quote's everywhere, fitting perfectly with everything Katt Williams just said. The puzzle pieces are connecting in real time. What Katt did wasn't just a diss. It was a dismantling. He stripped away Steve's whole brand image. Katt called him a Hollywood puppet, mocked his acting, and even clowned his most famous film, saying, "Think like a man?" Steve's been pretending his whole life. And the wildest part? Katt wasn't yelling. He wasn't bitter. He was calm, almost surgical. The crowd didn't laugh because it was funny. They laughed because they knew it was true. That kind of honesty can't be spun, edited, or denied. Since that interview, Steve's been quieter than ever. For a man who lives for the spotlight, that silence is deafening. No talk show monologue. No motivational speech to clean it up. Nothing. Sources say he's furious behind the scenes, calling meetings, demanding crisis plans, try and control the damage. But here's the problem. How do you fix something when people don't believe you anymore? You can lose fans, sponsors, even entire shows, but once your credibility is gone, it's over. That's what Katt hit. Not Steve's image, but his integrity. The one thing money can't buy back. Fans who once quoted his wisdom are now reposting those same clips with clown emojis and captions calling him Hollywood's biggest actor. Comedians who used to show him love are keeping their distance. The energy around his name shifted from admiration to suspicion. And the crazy part? Steve himself once warned about this exact moment. Years ago, he said, "If you live long enough, the truth about you will come out. Make sure you can live with it." Now, those words are haunting him because that truth's finally knocking. Through Katt, through Monique, through old footage, it's all resurfacing. And that's the truth people are waking up to. The realization that maybe they've been watching an act all along to this point. It's not about right or wrong. It's about perception. And in the age of the internet, once the crowd turns, it's game over. Katt Williams didn't just shake Steve Harvey's image. He shook the entire entertainment world. Because this wasn't just a clapback, it was a wake-up call. The truth doesn't expire. It just waits for the right moment to show up. Steve's empire might still stand, but his legacy will never shine the same. He's no longer the untouchable mentor. He's a man exposed by his own contradictions. Katt didn't destroy Steve Harvey. He revealed him. And now, the world's watching two men, one silent, scrambling for control, and the other calm, knowing he said what needed to be said. Whatever happens next, one thing's certain. This moment changed comedy, changed Hollywood, and changed how fans look at their heroes forever. So, what do you think? Can Steve Harvey bounce back from this? Or did Katt Williams just pull off the biggest truth bomb of the year? Drop your thoughts below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe because this story, it's far from over.